as you know, there is a lot of talks about, we need to change food systems. What that means actually is kind of a very vague concept. But nonetheless, yes, we need to change a few things. But there is also one aspect what we never really address, and certainly not enough, when we're talking about producing different kinds of food or producing it differently, changing the systems, and especially talking towards the consumers and the general public, is that there are some money implications. We do not talk enough about money when we talk about changing food or even just producing food. It's very clear that when we change something, well, we change the economics of the system. And if we change the economics of the system, then it's going to change the profitability of the system, it's going to change the cost structure, and it's going to change the price to the customer. And this is something that needs to be addressed because, I have the experience of dealing with customers, and customers, they want everything. They want everything for the price of, just the basic commodity. And of course it doesn't work that way. So what you need to do is, when there is a change of cost, well, make very clear that that's going to mean a change of price. And so people have to start thinking about, what do they want? Do they want to pay more for a supposedly better product or not? In my career, I don't know, I've lost the count of number of surveys that I've seen about surveys with consumers asking them, were you willing to pay, 5% more or 10% more if the product was more, environmental or more animal friendly or more cleaner or organic, and so on and so on. And of course, when you ask people, would you be willing to pay just a little more for a better product? The answer is always going to be yes, and it's always an overwhelming yes. You're talking 80% plus of people who say yes. And in reality, when they get in the store and they see the price tags and they have to make some decisions, the experience has been that in most cases they don't buy the so-called better product because they don't see a difference in value. And that's the key thing. When we increase the price, then the value also has to increase at least as much, if not even more. Otherwise, people are don't have the feeling that they get really a good value for the extra money they pay, and they don't buy it. So that's really the problem. So if we change food systems, if we change the economics of food systems, if we change the cost structure and the price structure, well, of course, the success is going to depend for a large part on the willingness of consumers. And it's really important to make them understand what is the value. And there is always a struggle between the value on the short term and the value on the long term. On the long term it can be a good change, but on the short term it costs so much more that people are just not going to do it because they don't have the incentive, or simply just because it's out of their budget. So how do you deal with that? It's very tricky. And in the whole equation, what you must not forget is, if you bring a different product and you have changed this system and you have changed the cost and the prices, how are your competitors going to deal with that? Do they go with the same kind of product? Are they going to also want to increase the prices in the same way? Or are they going to, just for the sake of cash flow, for instance, or market share, going to undercut you, undersell you, and then you might be out of business? So there is a fight. It's not just the consumer, but it's all the competitors you have that are also going to try to push you out so that they can get that consumer. And so that's why we really need to talk about money, all the implications, because it's not that simple. Technically, a lot of things are possible. Maybe everything is possible. We probably could solve, I would say, 90% of all the problems in terms of sustainability and impact on the environment. But the experience has been that very often all those solutions basically are not profitable. And that is the big problem. So that's why we really need to bring the issue of cost and price to the consumers. They have to understand that everything has a price, and if you want something better, unfortunately, you're going to have to pay more. So are you willing to pay more? That is the big question, and that's the challenge for companies, to convince them that that's the right thing to do.
If you're interested in my videos, please click on the subscribe button, or you can also visit my website.